All right, this is the second video of the day. This is going to cover some of the Breonna Taylor case, kind of what the family is saying, the lawyers are saying, and all that. Up first, we got Breonna Taylor's shooting video purportedly shows tense moments after officer was struck by gunfire. Basically just shows that he's being loaded into a cop car, and that's pretty much about it. Just showing that he's been shot. That's about it. Police in the video can also be heard saying, "Grab under his arms and cover him, let's go," as they move the wounded officer. "Go a little faster," one then says. The footage of Mattingly began after officers applied a tourniquet to his injured leg, according to news. Wave 3. That's pretty much it. It's a little bit on what happened, during the event. That's all we got so far. Breonna Taylor investigation reveals, the sequence of events that led to her death. We know that cops did knock on the door. It definitely wasn't a no-knock warrant. We now know that. Kenneth Walker also fired upon them first. Breonna was not in her bed. She was in the hallway, unlike people keep claiming. There's a bunch of misinformation that's trying to go out that I want to keep reiterating because it needs to be said. I mean, this information needs to be out there. The truth has to be out there, because these riots are getting worse, and they're being guided under false information, just completely false. So we covered this story over the last 2-3 videos on Breonna Taylor now. So we know most of the details. We know she was fired from being an EMT in 2017. There was also a dead body found in a rental car that was in her name. That's why she was fired from her job. So there's a lot of, let's just say she wasn't necessarily a good girl, considering she kept dating known drug dealers and career criminals. That's just a bad mistake. That's also on her. We've also got a Democrat who introduced Breonna's law arrested during protests. State Representative Attica Scott was reportedly arrested Thursday night in Louisville during protests following Wednesday's announcement that no officers would be charged directly for Breonna Taylor's death. Louisville Democrat, who has served in the legislature since 2017, has pushed for legislation outlawing no-knock warrants criticized by protesters, according to the Associated Press. Scott's arrest reportedly took place outside the First Unitarian Church that protesters briefly used as a sanctuary zone to avoid being arrested for staying out past the 9 p.m. curfew. Reporter Ryan Van Velzer tweeted video footage of what appeared to be a protester shouting Scott's name from the back of a van. So yeah, even, the people in charge are with a lot of these riots and the protesters, the Democrats specifically. Obviously it's not the Republicans that are out there marching with the protesters, marching with these rioters and allowing them to burn stuff down, break windows. They put a flare into a library. What did the library ever do? We've got from CNN, Breonna Taylor's relatives are expected to speak Friday, and their attorney says he hopes a federal probe finally gets justice. Well, that finally came out. "I have no faith in the legal system," Breonna Taylor's mother says. Well, you also got $12 million. You took the $12 million and didn't try to address any of these problems. Instead, you wanted to take $12 million. Maybe have some more morals and then don't take that $12 million and try to maybe use an outreach and try to explain why this is a problem. Even though it was all justified. It was ruled justified. We all know the information. So you have no faith in the legal system? Maybe don't take that $12 million. We got Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal were attacked on social media for defending police officers who killed Breonna Taylor and blaming her boyfriend who opened fire first. They basically said her boyfriend shot a cop. That's pretty much what they said. It says, "I don't think this one was like George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery and things like that," Barkley said. "I feel sad that this young lady lost her life. I think the no-knock warrant is something we need to get rid of across the board." Yeah, that's definitely something we should get rid of, but we also know that they knocked. But we do have to take into account that her boyfriend shot at the cops and shot a cop. O'Neal agreed and argued the officers involved were simply doing their job on a warrant signed by a judge, and they were. He also said that he believed the system needed to change, and which it does. It needs more reform, of course. No one is arguing against that. But the left just seems to want to destroy it all, abolish it, defund it, just get rid of all police and have nothing there in its place. So that way they can destroy absolutely everything, all small businesses. And you know who's going to strive? The corporations, the elites, the people that aren't, the businesses that aren't getting burned down. And these are mostly big businesses, these big corporations. I'm not seeing fast food restaurants getting burned down. I'm not seeing Walmarts and Jewels and everything else just getting taken over. No, it's not. Because they're only going after the small businesses because that's the easier target. And it helps the elites. And that's it. Left, you claim you're against the elites and then you do this. It's a shame. It's a shame. Got Breonna Taylor's mother was left weeping when she was told of grand jury decision not to charge cops with killing her daughter just 2 minutes before it was announced. I mean, you also took $12 million. So Taylor's family was last week awarded a $12 million settlement by the city of Louisville 6 months after she was shot by police who burst into her home late at night with a search warrant. Like I said, maybe don't take that money then. Have some more morals. Don't take that money. You took the money. I can't have sympathy for you now because you decided to take the money. That's all it is to it. Maybe I would have taken the money too if I was presented with it, but who knows? I'm not presented with it. You took the money and that was your choice. We've got, we know that these protests are just getting out of hand, and Black Lives Matter demonstration falls to 39% from 54% in 3 months amid fresh unrest over Breonna Taylor ruling. Says, meanwhile, the number of people who said the protests were always peaceful fell from 27% to 23%, and the number who said they were sometimes violent also fell from 51% to 47% now. It's just showing that more and more people are realizing what they're doing. No one wants to be attacked. No one wants for just living their life, for just being in their home or defending themselves and then being arrested. No one wants to live under mob mentality or a morality police. That's horrible. It says the shift in support for the protesters was most pronounced among white Americans, 20% of whom believed protests were mostly or all violent back in June, rising to 33% now. White Americans were also less likely to view the protest as all peaceful, down from 27% to 23%. Yeah, we know that. I don't know why they just added the same, paragraph in the article from up above, but whatever. Says a similar shift was observed among black Americans, though to a much lesser extent. 7% saw protest as all or mostly violent back in June compared to 10% now. So it's rising among blacks, it's rising among whites, it's rising among everybody. And as these riots and protests keep going, it's just going to keep happening. You're going to have support down to almost nothing by the end of this year or sometime next year. At this rate, well, who knows if there's even going to be these cities left to burn down by then. So then it's going to be them coming to the residential neighborhoods, right? Because they're already starting to, and then they're going to call the cops on you if you try to defend yourself. Same people that want to get rid of them, same people that want to abolish the police will call them on you. The hypocrisy of the left. What do you say? Well, last bit of news, just wanted to add up on some of the protests and riots that have happened. A little bit of updated news. You got Black Lives Matter rioters in Hollywood chased down and attacked driver. The update is the driver was detained by police. So maybe he'll get let go. Maybe he won't get any charges. We'll see on the outcome of that. But yeah, he was detained, caught later. It's a shame because he was clearly attacked. And there's video evidence of it. Like, he didn't harm anybody going through the crowd and then got run down by a truck, and then a Mustang comes up from behind them trying to box him in, and who knows what would have happened if they actually succeeded in boxing him in. They could have killed the guy. They were definitely beating him up inside of his car trying to, pull him out. It's getting ridiculous, guys. We all gotta chill down, and we need to have civil discourse about what needs to really be done. But as long as these riots keep happening, that's not going to happen because they're not listening to us. They don't want to listen to us. And they're just going to keep spreading misinformation. And with the media's help, they're getting it done. So with that, I'm gonna end this video here. We got a couple more coming up later today. I'll see you guys. Peace.